One of the things that I read about in your book that I didn't know before is about how our common understanding of the Rosa Parks story is what we would, call a fable, right? It's a
Yeah.
simplified story that is told in order to communicate something that's quite powerful, but in a really like punchy, like Instagram version way.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that and why those kinds of fables are helpful and harmful in our understanding?
Yeah, we have a tendency to sort of flatten and fableize stories.
Right.
Rosa Parks is someone that we learn about, at a very young age, and is often described as this elderly, tired seamstress on her way home from work who became an accidental activist when, as a Black woman, she was expected to give up her seat to a white passenger on a bus, and she refused to do that. And then that sort of led to a domino effect of the Montgomery bus boycott, and Dr. Martin Luther King became involved, and a lot of momentum for the civil rights movement came from that incident. That's all a very nice story. Almost none of it is true. The parts that are not true include that she was an accidental activist. She spent every evening and every weekend working and volunteering for the NAACP. She had been doing that for years and years prior to this. She was actively training college students on how to protest injustices on their campuses. Her family actually moved homes. They moved to a different home in their neighborhood because the route she had to take to school put her in direct interaction with white students who would expect her to yield the sidewalk, and they knew she wouldn't yield the sidewalk, and they were worried for her physical safety. So these are just a few examples of the lifelong history Rosa Parks had of being defiant and being an activist. She was also, by the way, 42 years old. She was not elderly. And so the story we've told, and then from there, the story kind of seems to suggest that then there was this, she and Dr. King sort of, flagged to the public that there was this injustice. And then the public was like, oh my gosh, you're so right. Thank you for telling us. And then change happened. And so what this fable does is portray change as linear, portray the protest as having a clear cause and effect. It portrays the individuals as flat, flawless heroes. And it gives us a sense that the good guys always win once again. The reality is none of that was true in this situation. That's not the way change happened. Change sort of is more like rolling a brick than rolling a wheel. It kind of goes forward and backward. There had been many attempts that Rosa Parks herself had helped plan prior to her not yielding her seat on the bus, of other people not yielding their seats that were unsuccessful in generating momentum, where those people got no recognition and got no sort of public support for what they were doing. Even Rosa Parks did not have widespread public support. She had a critical mass of support, but the majority thought this movement was moving too fast and was too radical. I say all this to say that the fable is not only untrue, but it's really dangerous, because what it does is it leads us to look at today and expect change to happen the same way. And when it doesn't, we are led to believe that, well, then that protest wasn't a good one, or it shouldn't be happening, or the folks asking for change are too radical, or they're not going about it the wrong way. If they were more polite about it, more people would support them. Again, our mental model of how change happens is erroneous in that case. So one of the tools that I describe in the book is this idea of detecting racial fables so that we don't misunderstand the present because we misunderstood the past.